Greetings and salutations to an additional perceptive briefing on worldwide affairs, international relations, and geopolitics. This one centers on the BRICS growth, wherein Mexico is one of the 25 new nations vying for membership in the group. Last week, Mzuvukile Jeff Makatuka, South Africa's ambassador to Russia, announced that 25 more nations are prepared to join the BRICS. According to Eurasia Network, Mexico is one of the 25 nations that have indicated a desire to join the BRICS alliance. The unlawful border crossings that led to an increase in tensions with the US have sparked interest in joining the bloc. Border security, drug cartels, illicit commerce, illegal immigration, and human rights violations are the main points of contention between the United States and Mexico. As a result of the events, the US threatened to stop giving aid to Mexico and put tariffs on Mexican imports. Mexico now wants to join BRICS in order to protect itself from US economic threats in the midst of rising tensions. Mexico has shown interest in becoming a member of the BRICS alliance and challenging the US. Mexico may become the first member of BRICS and become the first nation from South America. Additionally, it will be the US's first close neighbor to join BRICS this year. The envoy of South Africa said that there were close to 25 countries who indicated that they are ready to join BRICS. Nonetheless, the agreement of all the member nations will determine which new nations are admitted. The next conference in October of this year is most likely where the BRICS expansion will be decided. It's unclear if Mexico will be admitted to BRICS and be permitted to participate in decision-making. If Mexico joins BRICS, the organization may further its de-dollarization efforts in South America. But first, in order to help YouTube understand your preferences and allow you to receive new video updates as soon as they are released, if you find value in this content, please consider supporting this channel by clicking the like and subscribe buttons below. I'm grateful. Now, let's move forward. Given that numerous South-South countries are vying for membership in the bloc in 2024, what will the BRICS expansion mean for the founding members of the bloc? During the group's summit last week, the topic of whether BRICS will accept new members, which had been posed by over 40 nations, was finally addressed. Saudi Arabia, Iran, Ethiopia, Egypt, and the United Arab Emirates, UAE, were invited to officially join the group effecting from 1 January 2024, despite pre-summit allegations of disagreement over the possible expansion. With the inclusion of these 6 nations, BRICS currently accounts for 36% of the global GDP and 42% of the world's population. The mainly economic bloc was first established to provide developing nations in the global south with a counterbalance to Western institutions, as an alternative to the American-led international order. Although the efficacy of BRICS has historically been hindered by its consensus-based approach, the international system's future will be significantly shaped by the geopolitical forces propelling the organization's expansion, as well as the occasionally at odds strategic objectives of its individual members. Experts from USIP look at the implications of BRICS expansion for the group's original members, China, Brazil, Russia, India, and South Africa, as well as what the last meeting may reveal about the bloc's future goals. To Genhat. The Chinese leader Xi Jinping is widely regarded as having won this meeting diplomatically. As he arrived, he was greeted with the Order of South Africa. He arranged for talks with chiefs of state from Africa, who attended as observers, and he even succeeded in reducing hostilities along the Sino-Indian border. Above all, though, China was able to foresee an increase in the bloc's membership. This is important because the United States will have to take into account any potential security interests that the BRICS group of countries, which includes both allies and enemies of the United States, such as Brazil and India, as well as Russia and Iran, may have. On the downside, China keeps running into obstacles in its attempts to change the global financial system to better serve the interests of the global South. In recent months, there has been much talk about the potential for a common BRICS currency, but there are a number of reasons why this is unlikely to materialize. First of all, it suggests that members of the BRICS will hold greater quantities of each other's currencies, and even if they could, it's doubtful that any of the members of the new or expanded BRICS would want to purchase Russian rubles at this time. Furthermore, the Chinese yuan continues to face difficulties in being truly globalized for its closed capital markets. And finally, it seems unlikely that a middle-income alternative would be much more of a danger given that the introduction of the euro in 2002 has had very little effect on the supremacy of the US dollar in the 20 years afterward. Although China's efforts to leave the new development bank might do better, it is still unknown how much money it will get from current or potential members. It's also unclear how the bank would set itself apart from the other development banks operating in the Global South. In addition, the new development bank has been negatively impacted by its reliance on occasionally tense relationships among its founding members, as evidenced by the former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro's occasionally antagonistic interactions with China and the aftermath from China and India's 2020 boundary disputes. It's probable that such political upheaval will regularly target BRICS institutions. Which brings me to one last thing to think about. Some have seen China's desire to increase the number of BRICS members as an effort to create a rival organization to the G7. However, China might have unintentionally produced something much more akin to the G20. A sizable organization lacking a secretariat, legal standing to make decisions, and frequently a lack of unanimity. With so many opposing viewpoints, this growth might present the founding members with more difficulties than opportunities, particularly in terms of establishing institutions that would challenge the status quo. The enlarged BRICS will certainly be a crucial platform for international discussions among middle-income nations, but that might be its most significant effect on world affairs. Marquee. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has a challenging task at this year's BRICS summit: managing the group's expansion, resolving border disputes with China, and striking a balance between India's relations with Russia and the West. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, New Delhi has attempted to strike a balance between pressure from Western allies and partners, such as the United States, and its tight links to Moscow, which includes significant oil and defense sales, as well as ongoing diplomatic relations. Putin's absence at the BRICS meeting eased India's situation. In part, India changed its July Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit to an online-only event to avoid Western ire. A few days after arriving back home, Modi followed up with a cordial phone conversation to Putin, completing New Delhi's balancing act. In terms of BRICS expansion, India simultaneously aimed to uphold its privileged status as a founding member, asserted its leadership position as a representative of the Global South, and fought Beijing's attempts to control the organization by populating it with partners who have a clear bias towards China. In an effort to refute rumors that India had initially opposed the expansion plan, Modi went out of his way to show support for the new members. For India, which has been enjoying increasingly cordial relations with Saudi Arabia and the UAE, the new member list could have been worse.